Shalom, my friends, from here in Jerusalem with this month's Ask Yael. There were a lot of great questions in this month, and I want to address one from Paul that got a lot of responses of if Jews believe that Israel should be established, a Jewish state, before the third and eternal temple is divinely rebuilt. And this is a wonderful question, one that was asked a lot more pre-1948. Before 1948, before Israel was established, there were a lot of different opinions on if Israel should be established or not. Do we as man have the right to establish a Jewish homeland, something that's spoken about in prophecy as a prophetic vision, as something that will happen when the third and eternal temple is rebuilt in the capital of Jerusalem, when Messiah will come and reign and there'll be peace, when the lion will dwell with the lamb? Do we have the right to establish a country outside of those messianic parameters? And in Judaism, we have a concept of before something happens, we could debate it, but after it happens, we have to accept that this was God's will. So this was a big debate before Israel was established in 1948, but after the state of Israel was established, it hasn't been discussed much amongst the Jewish community. We believe that God has done miracles in order for Israel to be here today, and that in and of itself shows us that this is God's will. God wants us to be here in Israel, for the Jewish people to be home on this holy soil after 2,000 years of exile. And when we see the wars that happened in 1948 and 1967 and the miracles that God performed, it's very clear that this is God's will. And so most Jews accept that. Now the question is then that many people ask, well then why aren't all of the Jewish people coming home to Israel from across the world, from America, from Europe, from all across the world? And the answer is that I look at history. When the second temple was rebuilt, there were most of the Jews who were living in Babylon, which is modern day Iraq. Most of them stayed in Babylon. When the second temple was rebuilt, they didn't come home to Israel. It wasn't because they didn't believe the second temple should be rebuilt, but they were comfortable in their lives. And so too today, for so many of the Jews, for most of the Jews who live outside of Israel, it's not a statement that they reject a Jewish state being established, but rather they're comfortable in their lives and they pray for Israel and they support Israel and they visit Israel and they love Israel. And the last thing that I want to say on this is that what we've learned is that prophecy comes to fruition in shlavim, in stages, as we say. That it's not a matter of one day Messiah comes, the temple is rebuilt, and all of a sudden there's peace in this messianic world. No, we're seeing it happen in stages. The Jewish people are coming home, the ingathering of all four corners of the earth, the desert that comes to bloom, that we're sustaining ourselves here in Israel on the fruits and vegetables that we're growing, even though we hardly have any natural resources. Prophecy isn't something that happens overnight, but it's something that happens in stages. And the stages of messianic world perfection vision have begun. And you see it very clearly on the ground here in Israel. And I believe most Jews believe, 99% of Jews believe, Israel is a modern day miracle from God. We believe that it should be here, and we will do everything to invest spiritually, physically, emotionally, in every way to make sure that the Jewish state of Israel has a bright and happy future. God bless you from here in Jerusalem.